Saint Boniface is celebrated as the Apostle of Germany. Born around the year 673 AD, he first was professed into the monastic life at Exeter, but in 719 he went to Germany as a missionary to preach the gospel. Successful in attaining converts, he attracted many companions by whose help he founded or restored dioceses in Bavaria, Thuringia, and Franconia. He himself was consecrated a bishop, ruling over the church in Mainz. He came to enjoy the protection of such Frankish kings as Charles Martel, starting in 723. And perhaps the most enduring story of the work of St. Boniface is the occasion in which he chopped down the great Donner's oak, believed by the pagans of the region to be a shrine to the god Thor. It is said that Boniface personally chopped down the great oak. As the crowd of pagans watched on, awaiting the moment when the god would strike down Boniface, a great wind began to blow, and the crowd began to think now was the time that Thor was about to act. Instead, the wind completed the felling of the Donner oak, whereupon the pagan onlookers were impressed, and it is said that they converted. It is also said that Boniface built a church from the wood of the fallen Donner oak, which was the beginning of the monastery in Fitzlar. Another tradition credits St. Boniface with the invention of the Christmas tree, in which such pagan divinity that was recognized in the trees is now associated with the birth of the Son of the true God, Jesus Christ, at Christmas. Continuing to preach well into his 70s, it was Boniface's hope to bring about the conversion of the Frisians, and it was in 754 he set out with a retinue for that region. After baptizing a great number, he summoned a general meeting for confirmation. However, instead of his converts, a group of armed bandits appeared and murdered Boniface and those with him. At the age of 79, St. Boniface died a martyr on June 5th, 754. Why is St. Boniface still important? When we see the rising secularism of Western Europe, and especially in Germany, it is important to remember the work and zeal and sacrifice of St. Boniface and others like him, who brought the faith to that part of Northern Europe, to pray for his intercession so that the faith may be restored, and that with the zeal that he showed, all forms of paganism, even modern paganism, be rooted out, and that the people be called back to the faith in Jesus Christ that helped to build their civilization. And who knows, through the intercession and historical example of St. Boniface, we may see new preachers, new apostles, calling the people back to faith in Jesus Christ, a faith that was nourished by the leadership and preaching and missionary zeal of St. Boniface. We pray that through the intercession of the Apostle of Germany, we will see faith restored to that part of Europe, the region where St. Boniface preached with such zeal, dedicated his life, and ultimately gave that last full measure of devotion in his martyrdom.